It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to my new kitchen. I'm finally here and hopefully settled in enough that I can try making an ice cream video. So today we get to combine a couple of my fascinations, and we are going to use freeze-dried or astronaut ice cream. And that's fascinating to me both because when I was younger I wanted to be an astronaut. I mean, who among us didn't? But also I'm very fascinated with freeze-dried foods, and I would love to have a freeze dryer if there are any wealthy benefactors out there. So this is roughly 80 grams of freeze-dried ice cream, minus a little bit because you have to try some. And to that I'm going to add about 220 grams of water, which from what I was reading online is roughly the reconstitution rate for dairy products. And I'm just going to bring that up over low heat. I don't know if we have to heat this or not, but I feel like that's going to be the easiest way to really get everything incorporated. So like I said, freeze drying is actually really fascinating. Freeze drying is also known as lyophilization. It's used a lot in the pharmaceutical industry, and as an engineer who's sort of adjacent to that, I have seen some of the commercial lyophilizers, and they're pretty monstrous. But what you're doing is you're going to take your food product, you freeze it, and then pull a vacuum. And in pulling the vacuum, you are actually sublimating or turning the liquids directly into gas. So instead of boiling out to dry it or some other form of dehydration, you are pulling all of the liquid out without damaging the integrity of the item that you are trying to freeze dry. And in doing so, you reduce the weight, oftentimes in excess of 90%. So you're left with a final net weight of 10% of the original. So this is actually sort of reconstituting and coming together a little bit easier than I expected. I was prepared to break out the blender if need be. So in theory, since this is ice cream that has just had all of the water driven out, just adding water back into it should give us the same creamy consistency. I have doubts about that. I feel like it might end up icy, but we will find out. All right, that was about 5 minutes. As you can see, there are not many chunks. There's a few little ones in there, and hopefully those will work out while it's chilling in the fridge.
Failure is not an option.
Okay, the ice creaminator is chilled, and this is a small batch, probably only a cup and a half at most, so this should churn fairly quickly. The fact that it only took about 10 minutes to churn does not give me high hopes. Also, the sound that it was making as it was scraping along the sides. And I'm pretty sure, just from scooping this into a container, this is going to be fairly icy. So let's get this into our container and we'll find out in 8 to 10 hours. All right, let's see how this freeze-dried ice cream turned out. Well, you know, it's not as icy as I expected, at least as far as a scoopability standpoint. So it is soft. It does sort of have an icy appearance to it. It's a little melty, but it is kind of warm here in my house. Let's give it a taste.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay, the taste is icy, right? I do get a little bit of the mouthfeel from the fat. I get the vanilla, I get the sugar. I wonder if I overhydrated. Maybe I should have used a little bit less water, maybe 200 grams instead of 250. Might have gotten us a little bit closer, but it is a little bit icy, so odd scoops, you win our informal wager. So would I do this again? No. This freeze-dried ice cream was a lot more expensive than making my own ice cream from scratch. but it was worth the experiment, and hopefully you had a good time watching. Anyway, have a great week, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!